Dear learners, welcome to our next lesson on vendor managed inventory, which is also known as VMI. In this lesson, we will explore what is VMI, how it differs from traditional inventory methods, and the benefits that it offers to the business. And we will also talk about some companies or top companies who are utilizing vendor managed inventory in their businesses. Now let's talk about how traditional inventory replenishment works. So in traditional inventory methods, the customer or a buyer is responsible for forecasting, ordering and managing inventory levels by their own methods. This can lead to multiple challenges like overstocking of inventory, stockouts, and also inefficient supply chain operations. Now this is talking about traditional inventory method. But on other side, what exactly is vendor managed inventory and how it differs? So VMI is a collaborative approach to inventory management where the vendor or supplier is taking complete responsibility for monitoring and replenishing the inventory at customer's location. Now with VMI, the vendor has direct access to the customer's inventory data, enabling them to proactively manage stock levels based on actual consumption patterns. Now in this case, supplier takes complete responsibility of replenishing the inventory to ensure the optimal stock levels at customer's side. So here we spoke about traditional inventory methods and VMI. So let's understand the flow between both of these methods. And this flow will explain you about movement of material, movement of information between buyer and supplier. So here on a screen, you can see the flow for a traditional inventory method. In this, on a left side, you can see buyer, or we can also call it as a customer. On right side, you will see a supplier. We also call it as a vendor. Now, in traditional method, the first activity that takes place is buyers place purchase orders on supplier, which is based on forecast or based on the customer's actual demand. Once the order is received by supplier, they replenish the inventory based on the quantity or based on the information that is given on the purchase order. Now, in the third activity, suppliers will also send an invoice for the payment to the buyers. And buyers, once they receive the material or based on agreement, they will make the payments to the supplier. So this is the basic flow that happens in a traditional inventory replenishment method. Now here it is very important to understand that whatever inventory is received by buyer from the supplier, this is recorded in a book of accounts. That means whatever inventory is received from supplier, that is calculated as a part of inventory cost. Now let's talk about how it is different in VMI. So on the screen you can see that the first thing is that buyer and supplier are already there, but very important part is in VMI method, visibility of buyer's consumption pattern of particular product and their available inventory is given to a supplier. So this visibility is created based on multiple IT technologies. So it can be an access to the buyer's system, or it can be electronic data interchange which gives input to the supplier with required data. The second important thing here is there is always an agreement between buyer and supplier when VMI is considered. So this agreement is talking about the method of replenishment, what logics should be used to replenish the inventory. The logics can be at what inventory levels the replenishment should trigger. The logic will also include what are the penalty charges in case if supplier is not able to replenish the inventory and buyer is suffering because of the delays. So these are two important factors which takes place in VMI as compared to the traditional inventory method. Now talking about the activities, Since supplier here already has visibility of buyer's consumption pattern and available inventory at buyer's place, here supplier takes complete responsibility of replenishing inventory levels based on the agreement. So this replenishment happens as soon as inventory levels go down below the defined levels in the agreement. In the next activity, suppliers send invoice for the payment only for that inventory which is consumed by buyer, not for the entire inventory which is replenished. In the next activity, buyers are bound to make the payment for consumed inventory. Now here very important factor is received inventory from supplier is not part of books of accounts of a buyer, and it is becoming part only it is consumed by the buyer. So received inventory is simply not part of book of accounts unless it is consumed, and because of that cost of inventory or cost of goods sold remains on a lower side as compared to the traditional inventory methods. Now we have clearly seen what is difference between traditional and VMI method. So let's understand what are the benefits of vendor managed inventory. So first benefit is that it improves inventory accuracy and reduces stockouts by aligning inventory levels with actual demand. This leads to increased customer satisfaction and also higher inventory service levels. Secondly, VMI can result in cost savings for both customer as well as vendor by optimizing inventory levels and reducing excess stocks. Since we have already seen that VMI approach does not consider inventory in buyer's books of account, that's why the carrying cost at the buyer's side or inventory cost at the buyer's side is minimized, and it helps to free up the capital for other business activities. The third most important benefit of VMI is it promotes collaboration and stronger relationship between buyer and customer. This is because they work together closely, they share their data, they share their insights, and they jointly develop strategies like an agreement to improve the supply chain efficiency. Now there are many top companies across the industry, they have embraced or they have encouraged vendor managed inventory. Some notable examples include Procter & Gamble, Walmart, Coca-Cola, and even Dell. These companies have successfully implemented VMI to streamline their supply chains and enhance the customer satisfaction. So we will also understand a case study of Walmart, how they implemented vendor managed inventory and what benefits they have actually achieved by implementing VMI. Now to conclude this entire lesson, vendor managed inventory is simply a collaborative approach to inventory management which offers several benefits over traditional methods. It improves inventory accuracy, it also reduces the cost, and it helps to foster the collaboration between buyer and supplier, and hence it is being adopted by leading companies worldwide.